Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 188. I'm Connor Murphy here with Grace Matthews in Springfield, Missouri. Hi, Grace. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good. What's the weather like?
It's getting ready to rain, so the humidity has shot up in the last hour, and I'm sweating.
Oh.
It's sweaty.
Well, we're hardly sweating here, so I don't know where this global warming is coming from, or, climate change.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta wonder. I mean, our temperature is down, our average temperature over the summer is down by about 7 degrees.
Yeah.
In the last decade. Now, that's a lot.
I think ours is down more than that this year, and that's in Celsius. So
I'm wondering if it's global freezing.
Yeah. Well, here's a good one for all the climate change believers, is just ask them, when hasn't the climate changed? That usually stumps them right there, you know. In my day, we called it weather and seasons.
Exactly. Yeah, the weather changes, and I tell you what, here on this plateau in Missouri, it changes quite frequently.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
by the hour.
We've got mountains on one side and the ocean on the other side, so if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're very similar. Similar. It changes very quickly. We've had 50-degree temperature swings in one day, you know, in a matter of hours. It's just crazy. So.
Yeah, that sounds Canadian.
Yeah, well, it's all crazy, and you know what's more crazy than Canada and Missouri is D.C.
Oh, for sure.
Or the race to D.C. I think most of them are up in Iowa at the state fair now. The race to 2020 is down and dirty.
Yeah. And
you kind of got a team on the left made up of media, pundits, and politicians. And, you know, they have to have a weapon of choice. You know, it's really like word weapons.
Right.
And it seems to be the 3 R's. Russia, racism, and recession.
Yeah, and the left plays those 3 R's, I think, here as well. Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, those all get attention, and they're designed to take Trump down.
Yeah, well, they tried with the Russia thing, you know. We still have some believers that actually think there's Russian collusion going on.
Yeah, I think they've been living under a blanket someplace. I don't know.
Or a rock.
Yeah, a rock. That would explain it. But, I mean, Russia, what we found out, certainly they don't have a thing on Trump.
Right.
But there are others that may have done some things that are not quite legal.
Yeah, like selling uranium to them?
Well, that too. But there's some other things that are surfacing. The Hill's John Solomon has written an article called 10 Declassified Russian Collusion Revolutions That Could Rock Washington This Fall.
Whoa.
Now, I think he's right. They're going to rock Washington, but is anybody going to pay the price? You know, I really don't think so.
Huh.
Nevertheless, what are these documents? Okay. The first one is Christopher Steele's confidential human resource reports at the FBI.
Right.
Okay. These are reports in the FBI are called 1023s.
Okay.
They show exactly what transpired each time Steele and his FBI handlers met.
Okay.
So we're always asking the questions, when did they know that this report from Christopher Steele was salacious? you know.
Right.
Probably right from the beginning, or probably within 2 or 3 weeks. When these documents are released, and he says they will for sure be released because they've already been declassified, we will know. Number 2 is the 53 House intelligence interviews. Okay, that's where they interviewed people from the FBI, the CIA, that were involved.
Okay.
The next one, number 3, is the Stephen Halper documents. It has been widely reported that the European-based American academic Stephen Halper and his young assistant worked as FBI sources. Now, the word coming out of Washington behind the scenes today is that because not everybody in the FBI and the DOJ and the CIA is corrupt, they outsourced some of this with foreign governments. Okay?
Okay. Wow.
And thus, we see that the British Stephen Halper and his young assistant Azra Turk tried to frame Carter Page and George Papadopoulos.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Number 4 is the October 2016 FBI email chain.
Right.
This is a key document as identified by Representative Nunes and his investigators. It will show exactly what concerns the FBI knew about and discussed with the DOJ about using the Steele dossier, and what from that they used to gain the FISA warrant.
Right.
Okay. Number 5 is the Page and Papadopoulos exploratory statements. Another one of Nunes's, Representative Nunes's 5 buckets. These documents will show what the 2 Trump aides were recorded telling undercover assets.
Oh, okay.
Number 6, the Gang of 8 briefing material. Now, the Gang of 8 gets classified materials that the rest of the Senate, Congress does not get.
Okay.
They are sealed in secrecy, but these are declassified and will come out this fall. The Steele spreadsheet is the next one, which will sort of lay out a timeline.
Perfect.
Okay, of when things happen. So we know when, who knew what.
Right.
The Steele interview. Okay. What does the guy that wrote it say was true and wasn't true?
Yeah, exactly.
Number 9, the redacted sections of the FISA renewal application. Those are the things that were marked out when that was released before. Number 10, the records of allies and assistants. This is kind of what I mentioned before. This was the people they kind of outsourced.
Right.
With Great Britain, Australia, and Italy in particular.
Wow.
What was said, what was done, what were they paid for.
Huh. Well, this could be an interesting fall.
I agree with him. I think it could be an interesting fall. I do. And, on the same note, Andrew McCarthy, who is a brilliant pundit. He's also been a prosecutor in that Western District of New York. He says that undoubtedly Obama knew about the Russian investigation into the Trump camp. You know why he knew? Because by their very nature, counterintelligence investigations are assigned by the sitting president.
There you go.
Duh.
There you go. Oh, this is going to be very interesting then.
Yeah, and I really don't know what else to say about that. I mean, if it is what it is what it is.
Well, you and I know it is.
Walks like a duck and
talks
like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a frickin' duck. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you and I have known it's a duck for a long time now.
We sure have. We've been right about a lot of things, and nobody's given us that much credit.
No.
Nevertheless, we carry on. We won't be better. we just won't be. But this is craziness. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we might have done a show on Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
And of course, he committed suicide in prison, and that just as fishy as all get out.
Yeah, or he was suicided.
Yeah. Well, and we also learned that 2 days before he committed suicide, he signed a trust. He put all of his assets, which were almost $600 million worth, into a trust. Now, when you have a trust, you protect your assets from litigation. These women aren't going to get anything.
Wow. Okay.
It's a very smart thing to do. It's not that cheap, but why more people don't do it, I don't know. I used to do a lot of research for attorneys. Yeah. And I will tell you the right thing. And one thing this family does have, and that's a trust, and we don't have much.
Right.
But you do want to protect it for that person that tries to follow in your steps.
So even if the proceeds, like his income, came from illegal sources, they can't touch it still?
That's my understanding. It's in a trust, and he has one heir, and that's a brother that's, I don't know, a couple of years older, a couple of years younger than him.
Wow. Okay.
I still am unsure about the suicide thing, but...
Yeah. Or he's still alive.
We want to back up. He sent 3 weeks prior to getting arrested and taken into custody, he sent a $100,000 cement truck to Pedophile Island. That's where most of his dirty deeds happened. Okay? He would take that Lolita Express plane to Pedophile Island. And I don't in any way want that to sound funny, because it is not funny. He had $50,000 in cement poured. He paid up front for it so that it wouldn't be delayed. He wanted it done right away. He probably knew his arrest was coming.
Wow. Well,
what is buried in that concrete?
Yeah, I'd be jackhammering that concrete up, because obviously there's something hidden there.
Well, and 2 days after his death, the FBI went to the island and, combed it for evidence.
Right. But they didn't, do the big raid of the island until just last week or something. Like, what? Serious?
Right. Right after his death. Why?
Yeah.
Why did they do that when? I mean, that gave people all sorts of time.
Yeah.
To
2 months.
Of evidence.
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I mean, gee, however, you gotta wonder. I mean, that painting of Bill Clinton in the blue dress surfaced.
I was just going to mention that.
You
great
gotta
minds
wonder
think
if
alike.
anybody's gotten in there to take it. So, because certainly somebody would have taken that.
Yeah, or hidden it or something. But there it was. Yeah, I'm sure Bill was really proud of that one.
Well, there was one of Bill's old lovers that came out after the painting did. And she mentioned the fact that he used to like to put her panties on.
Oh, geez.
And she said, I never said anything before because nobody would have believed me. She said, now somebody might believe her, but he sort of enjoyed that kind of thing.
Now I'm going to be reminded of that on and on all day. Oh, no.
But certainly there are a lot of people in powerful positions that are awfully creepy. And I think we've always known that. But when you have that much money and you're that powerful, how is it that you need to gain power over a child who is basically powerless anyway? Because we know that pedophiles are not necessarily about the sex as much as the power.
Right.
I mean, I guess they're just addicted to it.
Well,
to me, the challenge would be to gain power over an adult woman, not a child.
I would tend to guess that it's more the innocence because, them and every person around them lives in a cesspool. So, I think they're going after the innocence and the, I don't know. I mean, it just makes you ill.
From them. I mean, you sort of, you're disgusted by it, and these women and, children, it breaks my heart. But I'm also interested a little bit into how this person's mind works. And you may very well have a point that they are so surrounded by corruption that these children represent an innocence of purity that they crave. They absolutely crave it. And it's sick.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I don't know. It disturbs me a lot.
Yeah, Prince Andrew's, putting up a big defense now because people are at him wanting to know what kind of connection he had to Epstein.
Yeah, and all these people that had a relationship with him after he was arrested and did time in Florida, they don't have much of a leg to stand on.
No.
And the people that assisted him, he was actually, when he left for the 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, when he was serving time in Florida, there were people bringing him young girls. He was still getting that urge satisfied and assaulting children. So I really hope that they don't give up, and that all these people that helped him and arranged for these young girls, I hope they go after them.
Yeah,
I'm skeptical.
Yeah, I'm
they
hoping
thought that Maxwell was seen. Go ahead.
I'm hoping that that trust is still able to be opened up and pay some of the victims.
I am too, but legally, I don't know if there's a way around it, but they will have to take the road around it. There will have to be some sort of special circumstances. I also wanted to add that we believed last week that Maxwell, the Victoria's Secret girlfriend, the owner of Victoria's Secret, that was his supposed girlfriend who arranged for a lot of these young girls, was seen at an In-N-Out burger. And people were saying, oh, she seemed calm. She must not have anything to worry about. Well, they have now discovered that was Photoshop.
There you go.
That picture is not real, or was at a different time. Anyway, experts have gotten together and they pointed out a lot of inconsistencies with that photo.
Wow.
Okay, Google. We are talking about Google, Twitter, Facebook. I know there are days on Twitter lately where my reach on a tweet is 3 people.
Right.
Now, I have a significant amount of followers. And whereas at one point Google really loved Shenanigan Free Press, they seem to fall out of favor with them. I will say that that's taken a turn since probably this article dropped on Sarah Carter's site last week. Google Insider turns over 950 pages of documents and a laptop to the DOJ. This is proof positive that they are targeting and using political bias, word phrases, context, whatever, in order to manipulate politics and the elections. There is a number out there floating around that claims that almost 2 million people or votes were manipulated away from Trump and to Hillary by Google.
And if they're saying 2 million, I'm thinking it's more like 20 million.
Yeah. So we will see how this turns out and what they learn from all this information.
I mean, it's not rocket science. You can do this yourself. Open up, a Google search page and open up a tab with DuckDuckGo and search the name Clinton, and just compare the titles. It's very, very obvious. Like there's no question that Google is manipulating and trying to brainwash people.
Absolutely, and it's disturbing, and it is some days for me. It's downright frustrating because we put a lot of work into what we do, what we write, and by all means, if we should have the right to get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody with an opposite view has the right, we should have the right. That's the way that America's set up.
Right.
And it's very frustrating. There's a lot of narratives out there and stories we don't know.
Yeah. Well,
because they bury them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the same thing. I mean, Trudeau gave, $600 million to the media. And of course, all the media that took money and the big bucks, they're pro-liberal on everything. They're telling us that
if they even need it.
They're telling us, that they're even in the polls, which is ridiculous. It's just like Hillary was over Trump in the polls. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Kind of like Biden's over Trump in the polls right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's BS.
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah.
I don't think that there could be a reliable poll right now.
No.
I just don't, because we just don't have the way of contacting a good cross-section of people.
Right.
I mean, if you go to the internet, you're getting a certain kind of people. If you go to cell phones, which you're really not supposed to call unless someone has an account. So Republicans can call Republicans because they're registered. Democrats can call Democrats, but a pollster really can't call either.
Right.
Okay, if you go stand at the mall, you got certain people that go to the mall. Landlines are only old people.
Well,
so you're going to get that cross section. So how do you mesh them all together? I do know that the each of the camps, at least the ones that have money, their pollsters for their private polls have a better way of getting the information than the large media sources, which sounds nuts, but it's true. And I don't know why. Maybe there's some sort of program or system out there that somebody simply doesn't share with the media because somebody's paying them more money for it. Well, it usually boils down to money somewhere along that line.
I think there's a lot of media that is manipulating the public right now, not only Google, but I mean, starting with Google, and Google is certainly the biggest out of any of them. Yeah, to see something happen with Google would be really good for the freedom of the world, free speech. It's really ridiculous. I mean, we've been climbing an icy slope ever since we started. And I think we're pretty rational in the way we talk, and it pisses me off. It really does.
It really does me too. And lately, I've been really under fire. And not that I've ever been put in Twitter jail. I don't call people names ever. I try to use logic. But I think they hate logic more than they hate people that spew dirty words and basically bully others.
Right.
Because logic is the most dangerous.
Right.
And I know that I am certainly getting more than shadow banned.
Yeah. It really is disheartening. I mean, we do put a lot of work and a lot of research into this, and to be penalized by Google just for having a certain outlook or a view is wrong.
It is, and it is, and we're lucky because a lot of people have certainly found us. But I'd like to know where we would be if we were not,
Yeah,
censored so much.
exactly.
But there's just a lot of things out there going on that are really bullies.
Pretty much.
I mean, everybody on the stage is a bully.
Yeah.
And I they really are. This article, I want to point out, was in Intercept, the Intercept. It was on August 7th. Now, the author of this had every reason to want the opposite of what he got in the story.
Okay.
From his research. These 7 prominent conservatives have nothing in common with white supremacists. Nothing at all. Now, this is Mahdi Hassan,
Okay.
who wrote this article. And he points out and he gives reasons why. His first person is Tucker Carlson.
Okay.
Yet, day after day, people are calling him as white supremacist, a white nationalist.
Of course.
Advertisers are boycotting his show in groves. And it's really nothing but a big farce.
Right.
And even this guy, who really believed when he wrote the story, he was going to get a different outcome. He says even neo-Nazis, don't like him.
Right. Exactly.
Isn't that sort of a clue?
Right. Right. Like Ben Shapiro gets called a Nazi.
Exactly. He's on the list too. But
Imagine that.
But yeah. Next is Donald J. Trump.
Of course.
I really think if you've looked into anything, I think he said like 1 or 2 things that I kind of cringe and go, oh, you shouldn't have said. But, everybody said something that could be construed.
Right.
As racist. You didn't necessarily mean it that way, or you used a word that you didn't know had a racist context. That's what happens all the time to me.
Right.
I mean, I don't say it, but I'm shocked by things like rats aren't really rats.
Yeah.
I mean, back when, this is how stupid I am. Back when Imus got in trouble for calling the girls' basketball team nappy-headed girls or something.
Right.
I thought a nappy-headed person was like a little curly-headed child.
That's what I would have thought.
See, where I come from, we don't really have all these racists,
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that as racist.
We don't turn regular words into some sort of racist, lingo.
Yeah, and it basically...
I don't speak that talk.
And all of that stuff just dilutes the meaning of racism.
Yeah. And so, really, I mean, people can call him a racist. They can say that what he does at the border is racist. Really, if they want different laws, Congress should make different laws. He is simply enforcing the laws. He has helped more black people, more Hispanics, and more Jews than any other president. That's a fact. The numbers support it. He is not a white nationalist. He's not a racist. He has denounced all of the above.
Right.
The next one is his chief of senior advisor, Stephen Miller. He's been called everything. I believe he is Jewish. It's hard to be a Jew and be a white nationalist.
Yeah.
I mean, it really just baffles me how people can call Jews white nationalists.
Yeah.
The author found no reason to support Stephen Miller being a white nationalist. Right. Laura Ingraham. Now I will admit, sometimes she's walked the line, or seemingly has walked the line. And she's certainly got a brother that hates her, that's gay, and he certainly fuels the fire. To me, that's a sibling thing, a family thing.
Right.
And I believe that has been the hugest thorn in her side. The fact that this brother will play along with anyone who calls her a white supremacist. And what do you do about that? We don't pick our relatives.
Exactly.
Now here's another one. Candace Owens. She is a black conservative. And they call her a white nationalist.
Wow.
For no other damn reason than she's black.
Unbelievable. Okay.
And he points that out. John Cornyn, who is the senator from Texas, he likes to cite Benito Mussolini, which is crazier than crazy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But he is not a white supremacist.
Wow. Okay.
And then there is, of course, Ben Shapiro, who is a Jew. It is very hard for a Jew to be a white supremacist.
Well,
I just don't see how it happens.
No, it's ridiculous. It's as stupid as calling Ben a Nazi. I mean, obviously, he's Jewish. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
So I think I could add one name to that list, though. Jordan Peterson.
Oh, absolutely, Jordan Peterson.
He's constantly getting called a white supremacist, racist,
no way.
on and on. Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, he tells it like it is. He tells the truth, and I love that because that's the person I like to be. And sometimes it makes my kids cringe. But they never have to guess what I'm thinking.
Right.
You know? And when they bring their little girlfriends around, they never have to guess. I mean, one day one came with a bit of a strange hair thing, and she said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I liked it better the way it was." So, I just like to shoot straight. And that's what Jordan Peterson does. That's what most of these guys do that are on this list.
Yeah, exactly.
They absolutely are standing up for free speech.
Right.
Okay? And they're saying, you may not like that white supremacist down the street. You may hate him. You may want to blow his head off. He has the right to say it.
Right.
Even if it's ugly.
You guys have the right there. In Canada, not so much.
Exactly.
You're going to jail. Yeah, it's a little bit different.
I never do that. I mean, I hate racism.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do. But once they take an inch, it won't be long till they'll take a foot. And that's the way government works, especially in the United States. Yeah. You guys have a little bit more restraint up there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's changed since Trudeau came to power. It has definitely changed. And we see some tactics now because we're getting close to election time. October is our election.
Yeah,
so we're getting real close. And the other day there was a lady holding a vote for Andrew Scheer, which is the conservative leader here. And this lady walked up to, knowing she was being videoed, and on video walked up to some non-white people and started hurling racial slurs while she's holding vote for Andrew Scheer. So Andrew Scheer immediately, said, "We have nothing to do with this, ladies. Racism will not be tolerated in our government and anywhere else in Canada," and on and on. Turns out that she was put up by the Liberals. As
kind of a Soros kind of thing.
Yeah, smear campaign. So you got to really, take a second. Don't believe everything you see and watch, and think about why. There's a motive there somewhere. Like, why would a lady, knowing she's going to be arrested for spewing hate crimes, why would she do that knowing she was being videotaped?
Moolah.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, exactly. Only in Canada, 10 to 12 million works out to $5 to $10 US.
That's what I told the guy the other day that wanted to pay us Canadian. I said, no. I said, no way.
Yeah, well, I would have to agree with you there.
Yeah, and we don't always agree about life's a journey, and we're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor. Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and everyone, thanks for listening.